Hello everyone. Eric Rock here, Spiritual Catalyst. So I'm feeling like I need to summon my inner feline, my inner cat, big cat. So today I picked my tiger sweatshirt, and I just want you to know this is such an unlikely thing for me to wear, which is why I got it. I'm in this playful place of running towards my opposites. So if there's something I wouldn't normally wear, or a color that, whatever, or a place I wouldn't normally go, something I wouldn't normally do or say, I'm doing those things. Consciously bringing growth, and it's actually has been pretty darn fun, and I've learned a lot about myself. So I encourage you, do the things that you wouldn't normally do. Really opens your eyes, expand your world. It's awesome. So today's message is about a fresh new start that I can feel is on the horizon for the majority of people. Life ebbs and it flows, and as one chapter ends, another begins. And today's message predicts a potent change that is on the horizon. So tell me, are you ready for a fresh new start? And if you are, speak it aloud. Yes, I am ready for a fresh new start. Dear Infinite Light, show me how amazing my life could be. Show me how abundant I can be. Show me how loving I can be. Show me how tolerant and patient and kind and graceful, compassionate I can be. Show me how creative I can be. It's almost like, in a very playful way, you're double dog daring the infinite to play this little game with you. And the infinite loves these games. And these games are really powerful because in that state of playfulness, there's no attachment. There's no, oh my God, I gotta have this right now. There's just this fun, whimsical, putting things out into the universe, asking what I call magical questions, which are powerful magnets for you to draw to you all the things you desire. So, currently the energy, the invitation here, the energy is very dynamic, and it's whispering, or maybe screaming, for a new chapter to unfold in your life. We're all stepping into the new, and it's not just because we just entered 2025. I actually see the new year more in the spring. However, I love to play the game, so I'm playing the game. And, at the end of every calendar year, there is an invitation to close the chapter on things that you no longer desire. You no longer want to play in that sandbox. You no longer want that. And all that amazing contrast shows you what you do want. So you can have some sort of a guideline of where you're going or where you'd like to go. So, life currently, it's filled with unexpected twists and turns, offering both excitement and growth. So I wanted to pull a card that represents the new growth, the new start that we're all moving into. And so the card that I draw, it will offer clarity and wisdom needed to sail through this exhilarating yet intimidating, perhaps, stage of your life. Because when we're going into the unknown, the mind resists, the ego starts to have a temper tantrum. We kind of prefer to hang on to the old and what's known. Stay with the the evil you know, or the demon you know, rather than like leap into this unknown, not knowing, is the ground beneath me going to rise up so I have a steady place for my footing? And what I find really interesting is if we look back on our lives, all the times that life invited us to take that leap, there's so much growth, there's so much opportunity, there's so much creation, inspiration, passion. There's that like energy that makes you want to leap out of bed in the morning. Like you say to the day, like, hell yes, bring it on. Like, show me. Infinite light, how the light can move and animate my body, how I can interact with other people in the most amazing way. Use me, use my vessel to make this planet, to make my life more enjoyable, more filled with celebration and abundance on all levels. But I'm also adding to the beauty that is life. So the card, it will kind of like mirror what this new chapter holds. And obviously when we're going into a new chapter, there's many unexpected surprises. So here's what I got. I got the card of the star. And there's so many interpretations for this card, but stars are the givers of life in the universe, just as the sun is a giver of life in the universe. And the sun and the stars shine on us with no expectations, not asking for anything back, and it shines on everyone equally. So, and as we look up at the stars seem to draw its seemingly infinite power from an unknown source. Does that remind you of anything? And it burns brightly with a lifespan we can hardly even comprehend. So our central star, and we are born of starlight, we are starlight. Our central star is so powerful that we only receive 1/billionth of its light, of its full light, and it's still enough to give life to our planet. And if you look at the brightness too long, it can blind you with its incredible radiance. When we look up at the stars and we start to connect with that the bigger all that is, it's awe-inspiring. It might take our breath away. We begin to realize who and what we truly are. You know, if you go out at night and gaze at the stars, do you feel small? Or do you actually realize that you're way larger than you have thought you were? And as we stare into that darkness, you know, because we've been conditioned to be afraid of the dark. But here we are standing up into the darkness. It's like an abyss that goes on eternally and forever. And within the darkness are these stars, these sources of incredible light. And we are a part of that. And we are a star ourselves. So a question that I ask you as we are moving into this new energy, these new opportunities, this new chapter, is how brightly do you want to shine? How brightly do you want to shine? Do you want to be all in and shine so bright that it, like, just wherever you go, you're like lighting up the grocery store and lighting up people around you, and you're lighting up your friends and family, your community, your clients, your students perhaps, depending on your occupation, your coworkers, your neighbors. And you become this radical inspiration for everyone around you to step into their light and shine brightly as well. Just think about it. Just think of the implications of that. If everyone went all in and said, heck yes, I'm going to shine as brightly as I possibly can, as much of the time as you humanly can, of course, because their role, situations may arise where you're like, I'm not feeling so shiny right now. And that's all cool. But just like take a moment and say yes. And it's this intention, this powerful, simple intention sets powerful forces into motion. I promise you. I promise. And how can I make that promise? Well, because I've seen it in my own life. I have direct experience with it. Okay, let me read what else here. So the energy of the star is also asking us to release expectations. This is such a big one. And to focus on the perfect present now moment. And as we get present, we let go of the expectations, we begin to channel spiritual energy that can help us embody the same brilliance as the star. So expectations, they're sneaky, right? Like they're so sneaky. We go to get together with friends for lunch, and a lot of times we walk into situations with expectations. Unconsciously, like we don't even realize we're doing it, or perhaps we do. And when we walk into situations with expectations, a lot of times we become disappointed. Isn't that interesting? Expectation typically equals disappointment. In my sessions and trainings and retreats and so forth, one of the things I always say is come into this with no expectations whatsoever, what you're going to experience, what you're going to feel, what you're going to heal, what will arise, what your life is going to look like when you leave. Because typically what source gives us, and the star is a source light, right? What we receive is way beyond our mind's imaginings. And if we have an expectation of this is how it's supposed to show up, this is what it's supposed to feel like, this is what it's supposed to look like, we often can miss what actually is. Isn't that crazy? Like, because we're looking over here, it's coming from over here, it's going to come from over here. And it's actually coming from over here, but because our head is turned focused over here, we're missing. We're missing. So every single day, one of my intentions is to release expectations. Am I perfect at it? No. But I'm so much better than I was. And with that letting go, with that surrender, because with letting go of expectations, there is an element of surrender. Surrendering to what is, surrendering how it's going to unfold. Surrendering enough so that I can be present to actually experience what is arising. Surrendering the mind, the narratives, the stories, preconceived notions. And show up as the most clean slate I can. And then really, truly, as we practice that, that could be a whole spiritual practice, but as we practice that, life becomes more magical. There's a more ease, there's more flow, there's more happiness, there's more excitement, because you never know what life is going to bring around the next corner. It's like this adventure. Life becomes an adventure. Would you like your life to feel like a grand adventure? And if so, heck yes. Heck yes. I will surrender whatever I need to do to experience what is, be in the present, and allow my life to become this magical adventure. So another facet of the star is this calmness, this presence, right? When we gaze up at the stars, you know, a lot of people will claim, like, I feel like a completely different person when I'm gazing up at this. Why do you think that is? A lot of times people, you know, you might think or expect at first blush, I'm underneath the night sky staring up at millions of trillions of stars, and you might expect that you would feel tiny, but actually the opposite is normally true. A lot of people feel rather large. Realizing your magnificence. So as we look up at the stars, we can see 1,000 distinct flickering lights in the sky. We are connected to all of them. The sky is similar to our planet in that sense, and each individual is a bright, shining, radiant, lovely star. So the invitation is to spend some time gazing up at the sky and absorbing the genuine peace it provides. Because the stars have massive serenity, harmony, tranquility, peace, 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 peace. So I invite you to ask yourself these crucial questions as we contemplate more on the stars, or in the star card that I pulled that's kind of like an energetic theme for anyone that's attracted to this video and that watches it in the present or in the future. You might want to ask yourself, what are your expectations? And look at your expectations and then ask, you know, are any of these expectations getting in the way of me having a pure experience? And if so, are you willing to let those expectations go? Or if you want to like really go all in, I'm like, I am done with expectations. And of course, there's always a time to have expectations that are optimal, like, you know, setting kind of boundaries for yourself and all that. So like, use your reasoning and logic. And the other question is, what are your aspirations? Like, what legacy do you want to leave on this planet? What legacy do you want to leave for your children and your children's children and everyone that's in your life? Like when, you know, when it's the end, what would you like to leave as an imprint in their mind? How did you make them feel? That's always a good question. How do you want to make people feel when they leave your presence? And then make choices that are in alignment with that intention. Next question, what drives you out of bed every day? And if you're not sure, if you're like, well, girl, right now, I'm not feeling like I even want to get out of bed. Like I wake up and I'm like, oh, another day. How am I going to survive this shit show of a day? You know, like what's your perspective and your attitude about your life, your day, and where can you make adjustments so that when you open your eyes, you're like excited? I did this one small thing is I have adopted numerous dogs, and that's how I wake up. I wake up to them jumping on the bed, kissing me pinning me down, especially my Australian Shepherd. He like pins me down and like licks my face until I just make him stop. But all the animals like super loving, and that's how I start my day. And it makes me want to get up and play with them, interact with them, bring them joy. Like I'm here to serve them. I want them to be like, oh my God, I'm like living my best life with this lady. Like, oh my God, I love her so much. So maybe for you, it's, your children or your career. And the energy's definitely inviting us to look at the areas of our life that are not bringing us joy, that are kind of flat, that bum us out, that are dragging down our vibe. And perhaps it's time to make some changes. And if you perhaps are unclear of what changes to make, like you just know that it doesn't feel good, but like that you don't see that new job around. That's just one example. We say to the all that is, like, how can my vocation, how can my career, how can my job give me more joy, give me more abundance, make me want to leap out of bed? And start to use magical questions that will get the energy moving in the direction you want it to. I'm so excited for all of us. Okay, oh yes, what brings you joy? I just kind of mentioned that. Are you pursuing what you like to do? And if not, maybe it's time to start. Make 2025 the year of you. Do you feel you could use a little more hope in your life? And if you do, well then perhaps it's time to start ingesting things that make you feel more hopeful. Like one thing for me, I had to release, surrender, not participate in, is watching the news and reading the paper. Because being a high empath, it really dragged down my vibe. And the curious thing is, even though I don't watch the news or read the paper, I'm very aware of what's going on in the world. And, when I pray and ask, like, how can I help? I've pretty much been getting the same answer for like 2.5 decades, which is for me to hold my vision for the highest and best of all of creation, the earth, the life of the earth, people everywhere, humanity, all creations. And that feels good for me. It might seem like more of a subtle way to participate. And if I'm guided to do other things and to do more than I do, but I only gotten to a place where I don't do anything at all unless I'm guided to do it. Oh my God, you guys, that took so much pressure off me. I only do things that I am guided to do, that feel in alignment, that feel right and true and good. It's like a brand new paradigm. Brand new paradigm. So, thank you for connecting in, for listening to this. If you have any questions or you have any insights or anything you want to share in regards to this topic, please share in the comments below. And if you know of someone that could perhaps benefit from this message today, please share it with them. I always appreciate it. So, what is the new chapter of your life going to look like this year? Get clear about it. Write it down. Write it down. There's power and magic in the writing. You've got this. Make this the year of you.